Rochester Local Podcast. Oh, am I excited for this episode. I am joined today by Pamela Meyer, Executive Director of probably hands down my favorite place in Rochester, Quarry Hill Nature Center. Hi, Pamela.
Hello.
It's really hard for me to not have like a celebrity crush right now.
You're like building this up.
Born and raised Rochester. There is no part of like me as a person that has not been touched by Quarry Hill. And I am just so excited to share my love of Quarry Hill on the podcast.
Love it.
And it's a very exciting year for Quarry Hill, isn't it?
It is.
Tell me why.
It is our 50th anniversary.
Oh my goodness me.
We've been kind of saying we're over the hill. So the view is great. We're over the hill and we're excited for the next 50 years. But
so there's lots of things coming up to celebrate the 50th anniversary. Like what?
Okay, so the first thing you want to save your date for is in 2 weeks, May 20th. We're doing a community celebration. Planting for the future.
Yep.
On the morning, and we're going to have a program. The mayor's going to be there. School board chair will be there. Greg Munson, former director, will be there. Yep. I'll be there saying some words. And then my favorite part is we are inviting the community to go plant with us. And we're going to plant 350 trees. Yeah. And we're going to plant like over 350 prairie plants. Oh. And it's our way to continue to root ourselves in nature, plan for the future, and it just feels holistically good. Quarry Hill is such a special green space here in Rochester. We just want to love our classroom. So we're going to invite everybody to come plant with us.
So what else do you have planned then?
So we have some celebrations planned for our friends members, our community of supporters. This summer we're going to do a paddle on the pond with popsicles and pop art. What? In the fall we're going to do a moth ball. We're bringing in like a state entomologist. He's like the leading moth guy, and he's going to do mothing with us, which if you've never done that, we're going to paint trees with like ripened fruit, and we set up a light sheet, and we peek in on the nightlife and moths specifically. You have to come.
So I think that is a phenomenally cool thing. And I love Quarry Hill with my whole heart. One of my top fears in life is moths.
Well, this is a good time for you to then like embrace your uncomfort and let education make you more at ease.
Really like quiet and unnaturally fluttery, and very heavy for how quiet they are.
They can be pretty big.
Yes. And like the really big ones are so frightening. But this sounds really lovely for all of those out there that really love moths.
Yeah.
I can't wait for this for you.
I'm going to make sure you're there.
Yes. Okay. So I will put it. I'm going to face my fears. A mothball. I love the name of it. That's very clever. Yes. Oh, so many fun things to plan for the Quarry Hill 50th.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Well, and I haven't even told you the biggest one.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Here we go.
So it's our 50th anniversary. We're going to throw a huge party gala fundraiser. And it's going to be in the heart of Quarry Hill Park. Outside, under a tent, under the stars, amazing food, good music, and a really cultivated auction of like Quarry Hill unique experiences that people are going to want to be a part of. Amazing. All in effort to raise and fund the next 50 years. We're community supported, so we want to gather our friends together and have a big party.
When's that?
That is September 16th.
Okay, everybody who loves Quarry Hill, mark your calendars. That sounds really special. So is it going to be on the prairie?
It's going to be out on the prairie. Yep, middle of the park. Gosh. We're excited.
Oh my gosh, under the stars. Oh my goodness.
Follow a candlelit path up through the meadow. It'll be awesome.
I'm already getting chill bumps. No moths, though?
I can't promise you that. We have little control over nature. We just embrace it as it throws it at us.
I mean, I love me some nature, but moths, I don't know. I'm still working on that aspect of it. Well, so exciting. Love a 50th. And if everybody can see, her vest has the special 50th logo on it. So you're really doing it up in a really nice style for your 50th anniversary out at Quarry Hill. All right. So, Pamela, now that we've talked about the special celebrations about Quarry Hill's 50th anniversary, let's jump into some questions about how you live your life in Rochester. This podcast is all about people living in Rochester and how they might live their life outside of their working lives. And so what I'm really curious is, how does someone who spends their working life encouraging others to get outside spend their free time? So you do spend your free time outside.
I do. I genuinely love to be outside.
Okay, so what do you do then? Where do you go?
Well, we have some land down near Lanesboro.
Oh, you do?
With a little tiny cabin, really rustic, and we go down and we retreat down there. And yeah, we love to look for wildflowers. We go shed hunting is a big one.
What's that?
Shed hunting for antlers. When the male deer shed their antlers in like late winter,
Sure.
we go looking for them. And we can sometimes match them up to our trail camera video of the deer that we see on our land. It's super fun.
Really?
And like my kids are ultra competitive about it. And someday my son will watch this. Oh, maybe he's going to watch it now and know that the sheds he finds sometimes might have been pre-found, and we like throw them over our shoulder.
Oh. That's amazing. Have you ever caught a shed on the camera?
Like it actively shedding? No. But we have matched the sheds to deer that walk by our camera.
Have you seen, this is kind of off species, but have you seen this video that's gone around of these moose that have shed their antlers?
Yes.
That's amazing. Like a once in a lifetime capture.
Yeah.
It's truly amazing to see, right?
They're so heavy too, right?
Like 100 pounds or something like this?
It's
or
insane.
Over?
They're super heavy.
Yeah. What do you do with the antlers once you find them?
Well, we put a little finder's keeper's tag on them with the year who found it and where, and then we just display them.
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so, in your cabin.
Yep.
Oh, neat. Oh, that's fun. So, do you have any water that runs through your land?
No, not through our land. We're pretty forested and prairie, so we're up on a hill. It's like our little house on the prairie.
Oh, that is kind of special. That's really special.
Yeah.
All right. So we've asked a little bit about what you do in your free time. Now I want to know, what makes you good at your job, executive director of Quarry Hill?
Oh, executive director. You have to be really good at multitasking.
Okay.
You have to have a sense of humor and levity. Because you never know what's going to get thrown at you. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like the proverbial when you read a job description and they say other duties as assigned.
Yes. Yes, I know that.
A big job is other duties as assigned. So, but I love what I do. I absolutely love what I do. And I work with the most amazing group of people who make my job easier, make me able to do it. So I'm pretty lucky.
I love your team over at Quarry Hill. I'm just going to say that.
They're amazing.
I love them. I love them with my entire heart. I'm going to throw in a little bit of a story. Speaking of other duties as assigned, and you may or may not remember this one, but it was probably a couple years ago, and I had a experience in my backyard. And this is a little shout out to my neighbor Logan too. I found something in my backyard, and it was a little weird ball. It had some holes in it, and I handled it, and I was like, what is this?
I'm totally remembering this. It's coming back to me.
And I was like, this is weird. It was kind of like on a stick, and I just kind of, put it down on the ground, and then like a couple hours later, I started getting swollen over here on my face, and like got really swollen, and I was like, what's going on? I went to the doctor. They couldn't figure it out. And then come to find out, the salivary gland completely swelled up, and it can happen when you've got all these tannins that kind of activate. And then I called you up, and I brought this thing to Quarry Hill, and turns out it was
wasn't it an apple gall? Or
an oak gall.
Oak gall.
Oak gall.
That's
which
right.
is, tell them, what is an oak gall?
An oak gall?
Yeah.
Because wasn't there a wasp egg?
Yeah, a wasp egg.
Yeah.
And it's like known to have like tons and tons of tannins in it, right?
Yeah, I remember this.
And so I'm like handling
You
this
brought it in a
thing,
Ziploc like it was.
and I was like, Pamela, what is this? And you're like, it's oat gall. And I like go home and Google it. And it's got like it's like known to have like tons and tons of tannin. So I'm like handling this thing in my backyard, and then I'm like touching my face. And then like my salivary gland like explodes. So, executive director of Quarry Hill and other duties.
And other duties as a sign. Just today, I mean, we always get nervous. People will bring us, like, we see somebody walking up the front walkway with a box, and it's like, who wants to take it? Because there's something in that box. And today, it was in a bag, and when you're Quarry Hill and you are like the nature place in the community, which we love to be the place that people first think of.
Of course.
She was shopping at Hy-Vee and found a dead hawk in like the river rock. And so she went to her car, got a bag, put it in the bag and brought it to us because she realized it was banded. And so she's like, I know you guys do bird banding, but people bring us all kinds of stuff.
My goodness me. Were you able to do anything?
We take it in, and then Carrie Nelson, she's our lead bird bander. She'll research the band number and actually report it, and then follow up with her to say, here's where this hawk was banded, and all the information we can learn about it. And
that's really special.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of bird banding, I was going to tell this story because I preempted you, but I have like a childhood defining moment when I think it might be second or third grade when you go to Quarry Hill.
Probably third.
And you get to bird band. You get to have your bird banding. My daughter's in third grade, and she got to do it this year, and I just clearly remember. And this was back when not everybody got to band a bird. I was chosen from the classroom. I got to sit down and have a demonstration, and I think it was Mr. Munson, and he was showing everybody, and he chose me, and it was a little black-capped chickadee. And I held it upside down in my little hand, and I had this little head right between here, and this little leg got banded, and I got to walk over to the patio and let it go. I will never forget it for as long as I live. It was so special. So
I love that story.
I know. It's so special. And it's like Quarry Hill has such a special place in my heart. It's just like doing so many good things for children. And, they don't, I think kids don't maybe recognize it at the time always, but for me, being able to grow up in this community and then now have children in this community, it's certainly really special. Yeah. So
I love hearing your story. I love hearing all the stories people share with me when they find out I work at Quarry Hill. Sometimes are just like that, really touching about a defining moment or connection with nature. And then sometimes they're like, like the oak gall. I had this experience and it was not so pleasant, but it was very formative. Right. So many experiences, I'm sure. Okay, so what are two things your friends would say about you? Two things they would say about me. I think some of my friends from, I would say high school, college, would probably say I've mellowed out a little bit.
Really?
Yeah. I was kind of a wild kid. So I've mellowed. Like the kind of kid that would like get in the car with a friend of hers and drive and spend 2 weeks climbing a Joshua tree.
Sure,
no cell phones. Why not?
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know how my mother survived.
So you're going to scare your mom. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And they'd probably also say, or at least I hope they would say, that I'm a good friend and kind and fun and doing crazy things. I still do some crazy things. My job sometimes is crazy. Like I'll come home and I'll tell my kids, like, you'll never believe what I did today. Like they're like, oh, well, that's Quarry Hill. It's like the lunchtime talk at the table is like, we always joke as a staff. Like if people could hear what we talk about at lunch at Quarry Hill, they'd probably laugh.
I would expect nothing less of a nature center, right? You can't have boring lunchtime talk at a nature center, right? All right. What are 3 things you love?
3 things I love. I love to garden. So like right now, This is my jam.
Yeah, dirt under your fingernails.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love to garden. I love to agate hunt.
Oh.
I have. That's a childhood. I started doing that as a kid in a neighbor's River Rock driveway. It's probably what really brought me into being an earth scientist is my love of rocks. So I like to look for agates and I like to read. I like to read and coffee.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. Morning. Do you stumble out of bed and drink a cup of morning coffee?
I set a timer on the coffee pot so it's hot when I get up. Yes.
Well done. I love that. I love a cup of coffee the minute I get up. It wasn't ready for me this morning, and I won't blame anyone.
Certainly. No, never.
But I got over it, right?
I'm right here.
I didn't want to say there's someone else in this room that shall not be named.
That's fine. Agate hunting is not one that I have heard yet. So on this show, we've heard reading, we've heard coffee, but agate hunting is a new one. So that's really neat. So, tell me what's one thing you look for when you're agate hunting?
Agates? Do you know? Well, I'll tell you this. A lot of people don't know you can find agates here in Rochester. A lot of people think you have to go up to Lake Superior to find a Lake Superior agate. You can search, like my hunting grounds are where the Cascade Creek comes into the Zumbro below the dam. I found some awesome agates there. One of my best agate hunting places used to be over by Cascade Lake. Do you remember they used to have when they were still, I don't know, excavating?
Yeah.
They had a huge sand rock pile. We would find agates in there. They're beautiful. Yeah.
Now you're giving me I'm adding to my things to research on Google list, right?
Urban agate hunting here in Rochester.
Urban agate hunting. Gee whiz, learn something every day. All right. What podcast are you listening to now?
Well, I'm listening to yours. Do I get bonus points for that?
Yeah, you do. You get all the bonus points.
I have been listening to, are you familiar with Curious Minnesota?
No.
Well, then you got to look it up.
I for sure do.
Curious Minnesota, and I think it Star Tribune started it a few years ago, and people write in things that they're curious about that are like quintessential Minnesota things. Like, why do people in Minnesota have accents? Or like, why is there...
I have clearly missed the boat on this one.
So random, like what people will write in about, but they're pretty interesting.
Yeah.
If you want to get to know your land of 10,000 lakes, I recommend Curious Minnesota.
Curious Minnesota. Yeah, I need to know where my very heavy Minnesota accent comes from. Yes, I'm going to go look that one up. All right. What is something you find really interesting about Rochester?
Something really interesting about Rochester. When I moved here, because I'm not a born and raised Rochester person, the lack of lakes was really hard for me to come to terms with.
Welcome to the Driftless.
The Driftless region. There are no natural lakes in all of Olmsted County, and I grew up in an area with lots of lakes and water. So that's a little hard for me. I've had to learn to love streams and rivers. But there's no
I know.
lakes.
It is very interesting. You'll have to go back to podcast episode number 9 and listen to Marty Walsh talk about the Driftless area.
Oh, yes.
Yep. And, it's something you got to learn to love about Olmsted County and our lack of lakes.
Yep.
Right? I know. Okay, here's another one for you, earth scientist, executive director of Quarry Hill.
Uh-oh.
What are your thoughts
Oh,
on the
I'm
Rochester
afraid.
geese?
Oh, the Rochester geese. Oh, man, that's a hot button topic.
Hot button. We went there.
Yeah. Well, goslings are adorable when they're little.
They are cute.
They are. And they're a native bird.
They are a native bird.
If I'm being truthful, they're not my favorite. And I know we have a lot of love for geese here in Rochester. And what I have told people before is, let's look at this holistically. I think no one would deny that we have a goose population in certain areas that's beyond ecological balance. So
that's a really good way to say it.
yes. So if you love
Yep.
geese, you have to understand they're part of a natural community.
Mm-hmm.
So do you love turtles? Do you love fish? Do you love the dragonflies that lay their eggs in that water?
Mm-hmm.
Because their population is not in balance in certain instances here in Rochester. So
Mm-hmm. It's a really good answer, Pamela.
that's my answer to it.
Those goslings are really cute, though.
They're really cute. They
Yeah.
are.
And it's their time.
Yeah.
It is their time.
It is their time. We have goslings on the pond right now. There is a mom and a dad and 10 little goslings.
10.
And then there is a pair that nested on our island, and they have one little gosling.
One.
Yes.
That's
so
sweet.
I know they're cute.
That's
but
really sweet.
they can also be.
Oh,
We had a staff member get attacked.
Oh,
they're-
boy.
We call them cobra chickens.
I like that. That's really good. Fill in the blank. Rochester needs a...
Rochester needs a oceanfront, more lakes.
Shoreline.
Yeah, shoreline. An In-N-Out burger. We just were out on the West Coast,
Oh, yeah.
and we used to live there. And so when we travel back west, we're like, oh, In-N-Out burger. There's some great Thai food restaurants. Like, we specifically travel to these regions to get Thai food. So,
I could go for a redwood forest in Minnesota.
yeah.
That'd be
Oh,
great.
that would be, yeah. If we could just have like little slices of, oceanfront, redwood forest.
So basically the West Coast in Minnesota, please.
Yes, please.
Perfect.
Make that happen.
Yeah, okay. I'll see what I can do.
Rochester has a lot to offer.
It
That's a hard
does.
question.
It
because
does.
I love Rochester.
I know,
And I
me
wasn't
too.
raised here. And when my husband, he's
Yeah.
born and raised Rochester. And we lived for years out in California. And I don't know if you know the story of how I came to Quarry Hill. Do you know this? I was just talking about this with Greg Munson.
I do know it only because I looked it up.
Oh.
But
you
tell
did
him.
your homework.
I did do my homework.
We came as summer camp staff. We were teachers in California. We were living in Malibu, paying like $100 a month in rent. And we were like right by the ocean because it was rent that was provided by the school.
Uh-huh.
And we came back to be by family. And like a few weeks into the job, Greg was like to both of us, I have one job in the fall. Will one of you take it? And we were like, went home. We talked about it. We're like, we have 2 jobs. Like, we just can't leave for one job. So we turned him down. And he came back like 2 weeks later. And he's like, so if I had 2 jobs, would you both stay? And we did. And we we sent the keys to our storage unit out in California because we packed up for the summer, sent it to our friends. They like parceled out all our stuff.
Oh my gosh.
And we've been here ever since. And
That was 2005?
2005, summer of 2000. You did do your homework. Oh my gosh.
Creepy.
Yeah. And he was always with my background in formal education and environmental and outdoor education. He's like, that is Quarry Hill.
Yep.
That is a classroom, we always say, that has no walls, no ceiling. It's limitless when you step outside, and the power of nature as a learning environment. It was impactful in 1973, in the 1960s, even before the Nature Center, and we still see it today. Even with all the things competing for kids' attention, you take them and you put a bird in their hand, or you let them take a fossil from the quarry, or you take them down underground into the cave. They have the same awe. They have the same reaction. That's what we do, and I love it.
Can I tell you what my actual dream is?
Yes.
Can I say it out loud on the podcast?
You can say it out loud. It's being recorded.
Right. And I mean, I love the Rochester Public Schools. My kids are students in the district. I would love, with my entire heart, to see a K through 12 curriculum at Quarry Hill.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can we make this happen?
Can we?
Knock, knock.
The powers that be.
Not like it hasn't been talked about already. But anyways, so should we talk about some history?
Yeah.
Quarry Hill history?
Ooh.
All right, Pamela. So let's talk about the history of Quarry Hill Nature Center. On this podcast, we love talking about little snippets of Rochester history. So I pulled up the history guide of Quarry Hill on your website, which is 9 wonderful pages. It talks about like the Pleistocene. Is that right? Is that
Pleistocene?
Yes, I said that wrong. It talks about, the turn of the century and the rock crusher and some of the early history of what was on Quarry Hill land right now. But what I think we want to talk about today is, what did it take to start a nature center 50 years ago?
Yeah. Yeah.
We talk about Harry Buck.
Yes.
Right?
Harry Buck. Yeah. So Harry was a John Marshall science teacher.
JMHS.
Yeah. Oh, my.
I was a John Marshall graduate.
Awesome. So Harry Buck, John Marshall science teacher, in the late 1960s. So Quarry Hill Park was formed in 1965. State Hospital was selling off land, and the city bought 212 acres. And at the time, Rochester Public School teachers were teaching in the month of June, a 10-month contract, and they were doing all kinds of different things. And Harry, as a science teacher, was like, we've got this new park. Let's do science. And he would gather kids. My understanding from Harry is, in the 1960s, parents would just drop their kids off and be like, hey, see you later. Like,
a little different than today's
little different.
world, yeah.
A little different. I have photos of him smoking a pipe with kids, which when I told him I had these photos, he's like, that's not true. And I'm like, Harry, they're right here. It was different times.
Yeah.
Different times. So Harry started teaching Rochester Public School kids in the month of June in the newly formed Quarry Hill Park. And he did that for a number of years. And Harry, he could see very clearly there's science all around us, and it's so easy to see in nature and really capture kids' attention. And he was like, Minnesota doesn't always have nice weather. We know that, right? He's like, we could really use a building, and we could expand this beyond summer.
Yeah.
And he went to the school district, and they said, we don't have money to build a building.
Yeah.
And he went to the city, who owns the land, and they said, well, we don't have money to build a building. And Harry was resolute. This community has the ability to build a nature center. It's like early crowdsourcing, like GoFundMe. There were kids selling buttons. They were doing like auctions down at like the county fairgrounds of like, we read the old articles, some of the most random things they were auctioning off, all to raise money. And you had groups like Kiwanis and the Isaac Walton League. It just people coming together to say, this could be big for the kids of the community.
Yes.
And they raised the $50,000 to build Quarry Hill, which my understanding also from talking with Harry and even talking with Greg, much of the construction of the Nature Center was donated labor too. Labor, supplies, things like that. Which anytime we're doing renovations and we find something quirky, we're like, that's because it was volunteer built.
Yes, sure. Of course.
But yeah, Harry had the vision, and he rooted Quarry Hill in our community. And the kinds of things he was doing with students in the 60s and 70s are still what we're doing today.
Yeah.
And we've certainly grown. I mean, we went from where, the fireplace is in the nature center. Like that was the classroom. That was it.
Yep.
And so we have all of these lovely photos of kids sitting in the exploration hall for their lessons. The chairs they're sitting in are still the chairs that we're using today.
Love it so much. I hope that they are used until they are literally falling apart. That's it's perfect, isn't it? Right? Why not use them forever? If they're usable, it's perfect.
Not built like things used to be, but we've grown not only in our building size, but the number of kids that we're serving. Even we're not just about kids anymore.
No,
we're running a lot of adult programming and preschool programming, and really really embracing nature is for all.
Yep.
Everybody loves to learn.
Yep.
Let's welcome the entire community
Yes.
in.
Yep.
And be that hub for nature here in Rochester.
I love it. I think the vision that Harry had to have had, and not only that, you can have a vision, but to be a vision caster is something entirely different as well. And so he really had to have that energy to encourage others to come alongside of that. And obviously, Rochester truly caught that vision. And aren't we so lucky?
We are so lucky. And we, at Quarry Hill feel a huge amount of responsibility to the community that invests in us and in our work to continue to be that place that is connecting kids with nature, that is connecting families with nature, that is admission free. And you can come, band a bird or bring us what nature curiosities you find. We'll be your nature Google. Just stop in and see us.
Climb the hill. Maybe find a little fossil. Who knows? Maybe find it. No, I don't know. You can find an agate. But, there's so many things that you can find at Quarry Hill. Quarry Hill is just one of the places that we would just take our kids when they were really little. And we would just let them run. Yeah. We just let them run, let them go, let them explore. They were safe. They were with us. They could explore. They could be. They could, and just run around. It's just such a gift. Yeah. It's such a gift.
It is.
Yeah. All right. Well, do you have a sticker for our sticker board?
I brought you an awesome sticker. Are you ready for this?
I can't wait. Yes.
Are you ready?
I don't know. Am I? Okay. Am I ready? Here's our sticker board.
Do I get to do the honors of sticking it on? Or
yes?
Yes. Okay.
You absolutely do.
So as we've been digging through archives, we found a roll of vintage Quarry Hill stickers that have our actual original logo that has the building and the rays of sunshine.
Oh,
so I hope it still sticks. It's still sticky after 50 years.
I could almost cry real tears about this. Oh my goodness me! Look at that. Oh,
I love it.
Oh my. A vintage 50-year-old Quarry Hill Nature Center sticker.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say. This isn't like a valuable sticker board. My goodness. Pamela, I cannot thank you enough for coming to join me on the Rochester Local Podcast.
Oh, it's my pleasure. This was fun.
Thank you so much. I just wish you all the best with your 50th anniversary celebrations. It's going to be such a special year for you.
We're excited, and we're excited to celebrate with the community.
I can't wait. I can't wait. So, again, thank you so much, and thank you so much for joining us on the Rochester Local Podcast.